All right. So thank you for joining us this afternoon. Welcome to KDLA Kids 101. And I'm Debbie Hibbard. I'm the Patron Services Supervisor for the State Library. And I'm joined today by Cathy Crum. She's our Technical Services Supervisor. And I'd also like to introduce our new reference librarian, Hannah Mooney. Hannah's sitting in today. She's kind of learning how we do these webinars and getting her feet wet with it. So say hi to Hannah. And just want to let you know if you have any questions or comments, feel free to chat those in throughout the webinar and we'll try to answer them as we go along. And we'll hopefully have some time at the end to also answer questions. Just a few more housekeeping details. You should have access to live captions. And it will ask you if you want to use captions at the top. That should be available to you in Collaborate. And also, this webinar is being recorded. It will be available later on our website. And I'm going to try to send out a recording to everyone who has registered, as well as to anyone that's on my book club coordinators list, my distribution list, so that everybody will have access to this, because we have some minor updates on our Kit Keeper saga. So we'll see how that goes. But at any rate, let's go ahead and get started. So today we're going to go over the types of kits we have available. And Cathy's also going to be talking about how we select our kits, how we get topics and titles and things of that nature. Then I'm going to go over how you can find kits, which right now, that since we don't have Kit Keeper, there's a few workarounds that we figured out for that. So I'll show you how to do that. We're also going to talk a little bit about scheduling of kits and update you with some news about, where we are in finding a replacement for Kit Keeper. And then I will talk about when things go wrong, and they do. Anytime kits end up in the wrong place, or you get notices for things that you don't think you have had, and things of that nature. We'll kind of talk about how those issues come up and how we handle them. And at the end, Cathy's going to talk about those surveys that we put in every kit. And we really appreciate, by the way, you filling out those surveys. They give us a lot of good feedback. And she'll talk about some questions and some comments that we see pretty frequently, and give you some answers to those. So I'm going to hand it on over. Oh, wait. One more slide. I just, you all spend so much time emailing us, you don't really get to see us and who we are. So I wanted to take the time to just introduce you to your patron services team here at KDLA. I am the patron services supervisor. As I said, I'm there in the top left-hand corner. And then over to my right is Hannah Mooney. Hannah, again, is our new reference librarian. She's going to be handling research database webinars. So you might hear from her here in the near future. And she's also handling our inmate reference requests, as well as other types of reference requests we get, and is helping with interlibrary loan now. Down below my picture is Alexis Payne, and Alexis is responsible for all the hundreds of items that come through our library every week, checking them in, checking them out, checking for damage, checking for bed bugs, and just making sure that things get where they're supposed to go. And she is really excellent at it. And then on to the right of her is Samuel. Samuel is a new addition. He's an ADECO temp employee right now. And he also helps with check-in and check-out of materials. And if you get circulating large print or audiobook collections, he is responsible for handling those, getting them checked out, and getting them where they need to go. And he also processes our library account applications for state employees. So that is the patron services team. And Cathy's going to introduce you to our technical services team.
All right. Hold on one sec here. Okay. So we have 3 staff members. So as Debbie said, I'm Cathy Crum. I'm the technical services supervisor for the state library. We have 3 staff members at KDLA who are responsible for the acquiring, cataloging, and processing of new kits and all the other materials that we get. And right there in that top left-hand corner is me in the red. You can't see it, but my husband is cropped out of the picture. It was the nicest one I had of myself, but you know, y'all didn't want to see him. But he is kind of cute. So as the chair of the KDLA's material selection team, I oversee selection and purchasing of kits. Rebecca catalogs all of the new large and regular print kits, and then I catalog the new youth book kits and all the programming kits. Rebecca's there in the middle. And then on the far right side is Mitzi, and she does all of the physical processing for our kits and all other KDLA materials, as well as all of our repairs. And just as a side note, if one of our kit books or any of our other things that we circulate to you gets damaged, we just ask that you please don't try to fix it. Just send it back to us. Mitzi really wants that first chance at trying to repair stuff, okay? This is words from Mitzi, okay? All right, so let's talk about some different types of kits that we have at KDLA. And we're going to start with the
I like to remember
book discussion, the adult kits for adults. So we have adult book discussion kits in large and regular print. We also have thematic programming kits, and we'll talk about those more in a minute. So for adult book kits, these are our most frequently circulated kits. They're available in a wide variety of genres. We circulate a lot of general and historical fiction, as well as mystery suspense. We also have a lot of Christian fiction, romances, a lot of Kentucky fiction, and some nonfiction, including a lot of biographies and memoirs. Those come in a sturdy container. They check out for 9 weeks at a time, and you can renew those as long as no one else has a schedule following that. And they all have, each kit has up to 15 copies, an audio book if available, and a discussion guide. And the discussion guides now are created by our workforce and adult services consultant, Hillary Ritt. We try to have at least 12 copies in a kit, but that's not always possible because sometimes things get damaged and we can't replace them. So sometimes we have to we just don't have quite enough copies. We try though. And next we have our adult programming kits. These are designed to encourage adults to explore, create, and learn at the library and at home. They include a variety of themes. Some examples of some new ones we have are railroads in Kentucky. There's also automobiles and automobile travel in Kentucky. We also have things like Appalachian culture, Kentucky travel, and vegetable gardening, just to name a few. These kits are multi-format and may include books or CDs and DVDs, electronic games, and are all accompanied by a resource guide with ideas for using the items in the kit to create a program or an activity. All the programming kits check out for 9 weeks, just like the book kits. And just like the book kits, they can be renewed if there's no other schedule for them. So next, we're going to talk a little bit about youth kits. We have youth book discussion kits for beginning readers through high school. We also have a wide variety of youth programming kits, which we'll talk about in a second here. And we're going to start with the youth book discussion kits. And those are complete programs designed around high quality books for children and teens. Each kit includes up to 20 copies of a book, an audiobook if available, and a discussion guide. And a lot of the newer kits that we're putting out, youth book discussion kits, have editions in Spanish and large print if that's available. You can check out up to 5 book kits at a time for 9 weeks, and those can be renewed as long as there's not a schedule for another library afterwards. And I just want to mention we also have KBA picture book kits, which are collections of picture books from the Kentucky Bluegrass Award program. These titles are selected annually in collaboration with Kentucky teachers and public librarians, and they're voted on by Kentucky children and students. And we have these for preschool and kindergarten through 2nd grade. So each year we get those collections. Pretty cool stuff. I will admit that I bought my niece one of the books in, I think, last year's set. I think it was Invasion of the Unicorns, which I think is hilarious. So very high quality picture books there. And for our youth programming books, we have STEAM kits. which are designed to help with story time planning and other programming. And they incorporate activities that include STEAM concepts such as science, technology, engineering, art, and math. These kits include books, manipulatives, resource guides, and games and toys. An example we have is how to use computers kit for like elementary age kids. It's pretty cool. And then we also have thematic kits for preschoolers through teens. And these include books and CDs and DVDs and other toys and manipulatives. Some examples include fairies and princesses, making friends and seasons, and then a few of the teen kits include hosting a lock-in, Star Wars, jewelry making, and the ever-popular horror kit, and zombies. We also have some interactive mystery kits that include everything you need to plan a mystery for your group. And these kits are part of the Anyone's Guest series and are designed for grades 3 through 6, or 3 through 9. There's 3 through 5 and then 6 through 9. So, all right. And then next we have, these are brand new. I think last year we started creating all ages thematic programming kits, which can be used with a wide variety of ages in a group, like family setting. Some of these are our backyard baskets and our oral history kits, which were developed by the Kentucky Historic Society. We also have a kit on discovering Braille, which is really neat. There's a lot of really cool stuff in the Discovering Braille kit. And we also have one about, it's an introduction to the Kentucky Talking Book Library. And that one is a really cool kit. And here are some important things that apply to all of our kits. Our kits are a traditional ILL. We just don't use OCLC for them. So please do not request our kits through OCLC ILL. Lost and damaged items will be charged for a replacement fee, except in the case of some of the youth kits.
Youth kits have no charge.
Youth kits have no charge because we would really like for those to be circulated through to the schools, and we don't want that to be a hardship, a detriment to that. We really want those to be, to be helpful to, providing support to our local school systems through using these kits. Some of the discussion kits may arrive without the full complement of books. Don't worry. You are only responsible for what is on the checkout sheet, the checkout receipt that you should get, okay? So don't worry if you don't have every single copy that's on there. As long as you have everything that's on your due date receipt, that's all you're responsible for. The kits are shipped through the KYBL courier 2 weeks prior to the date that you indicate you need them. So it's really important for you to tell us what date you actually need the kits so that we know when to start shipping those. And then all kits can be scheduled to be used by your patrons, whether it's a community group or a school, but you are the ones who have to request it from us. Please don't ask your patrons to contact us directly because that could cause it's very confusing and it could cause a delay in shipping and being able to schedule these things. And then we include a survey in each of the kits, and we really ask that you fill out those surveys because we really do pay attention to them. That really helps us. All right, so next we're going to look at just a brief look at our kits by numbers. So we have over 778 adult book kits. That's the regular and large print. We have 36 adult programming kits, 321 youth book kits. Youth program we have 109 youth programming kits, and our little all ages, we only have 12 right now, but those will be growing in the future. But we have a 22,535 kit parts that we have to keep track of. So that's just kind of, and then just in 2024, we checked out 1,891 kits for a total of 32,071 kit parts, which should show you how much the kits circulate and how many items that we are juggling and how popular these are. So we are very happy to be able to give this service to you. All right, so we're going to briefly talk about how we select the kits, just to give you an idea about how these things are put together. So we're going to start with the programming kits because that's the easiest one. The adult programming kits are developed by our workforce and adult services consultant, Hillary Ritt. The youth programming kits are developed by our youth services consultant, Amy Olson. And the all ages kits are developed by either of her consultants, and usually they're working together on it. So Hillary gave us a couple of slides to kind of show how she develops these programs, these kits. So her biggest source of ideas are Kentucky Public Library staff, you. And she gets those through the regional meetings, the in-person meetings, the virtual adult and outreach services meetings that are held each month, from emails and conversations that she has with all of you. She gets her ideas also from other librarians and from state partners. And a good example of this is that we started a partnership with Fish and Wildlife to create the backyard bass kits that we have in our all ages kits. And they are pretty cool, I will say. You can do fake fishing. It's awesome. So here's an outline of Hillary's process for how she goes about developing the kits. She'll develop a list of resources for the kits, and then she'll search for availability with vendors and Amazon. And then she contacts different agencies to see about using their resources in the kits. And she works with our archives colleagues here at KDLA to get items from our archival collections. And then once her material purchases have been approved, she sends those to me for purchasing. And then she goes on and works to create a resource guide to accompany the kit. So next, we're going to look at selection for our book kits, and we're going to start with youth book discussion kits. So the youth book kits are selected by our youth services consultant, Amy Olson. Many of the titles for older students are taken from the Kentucky Bluegrass Award or KBA master lists. And as I mentioned before, we do purchase all the preschool and kindergarten through second grade books and circulate those as KBA picture books kits. Titles that aren't KBA titles have at least 3, but typically 4 to 5 star journal reviews. And Amy also considers whether something is available in Spanish or large print when she's considering titles for the youth book kits. All right, now we're going to talk about selecting large and regular print book kits because this is the most involved. So we select these each quarter, and large print kits are selected by genre. We don't currently choose the regular print kits by genre, but we may consider that as we get more data from our evaluations. The genres are based on the results from the kit evaluations that you fill out and from our kit circulation statistics. We select general and historical fiction, mystery, suspense, and nonfiction or biographies each quarter. And then we select other genre as needed. So in January, we selected new Christmas titles in hopes of having those for the coming holiday season in 2025. In April, we plan to select some love stories and science fiction fantasies. And so where do we get our title suggestions? One place is our KDLA materials selection team. And that is made up of a panel of 8 KDLA librarians who vote on all of our selection materials. We also get suggestions from you, the public library staff, through our kit suggestion form. And I also look at National Book Club selections, such as Oprah's and Reese's Book Club, Read with Jenna, the Good Morning America Book Club. So we look at a lot of those to see what's popular in the book discussion world. All right, the selection process is fairly painless. We send out a selection survey using SurveyMonkey, which includes an opportunity to rank suggested titles. This survey goes out to 2 listservs, the KBOS for Bookmobile and Outreach staff, and CAPS for adult programming staff. Debbie also sends the survey out to an email list that she maintains of book club coordinators. Selection lasts for 1 week, and then we choose titles based on the scoring in SurveyMonkey. So, how can you help in selection? So send us your suggestions. You can use our kit suggestion form, or you can email us at kdla.techservices@ky.gov. You can also sign up for the CAPS and KBOS listservs if that's appropriate for your position. I think Debbie's going to cover how to actually do that later, but there's also a link in this slide right here that shows you where you would go on our website. All right. criteria for selecting kits for your kit suggestions. So we're looking at titles that are 5 years or newer. So right now, I think we're only considering 2020 titles and newer, unless it's a classic title or there is new interest in the title due to like a movie or TV tie-in, or it's been selected by one of the national book clubs, or maybe it's been something that's newly released in large print. So we saw that with, I think, the Fourth Wing books came out in large print last year. So we decided to develop one of those as a large print kit. And you also want to include titles that will appeal to a wide audience. And we're asking that each library only submit 2 suggestions per quarter, just so that we have a wide variety of suggestions for multiple libraries, but that we're not overwhelmed with suggestions. All right. And after selection is finished for all types of kits, the kits go through our purchasing process, which can take time. Discussion guides are created by Amy and Hillary, which can take time as well. And then once all the materials have been received and the guides created, the kits are cataloged and physically processed, and then they are finally for circulation. I'm going to turn this back over to Debbie.
Okay, before we move on to finding kits, does anyone have any questions for Cathy regarding what kind of kits we have, how we select them, things of that nature? We will move on to finding kits. So the easiest thing to do is go to our website, kdla.ky.gov, and at the top you see a menu bar that has a list of all of our different programs, basically. Library support, state employees, records management, archives, and then talking books. Library support is where you will want to go, and you just click on that. And then on that page, there are a list of options. You have a menu there on your left-hand screen, and you also have some cards there in the middle that you can click on. Just click on Kits. It'll take you to a page where we used to have Kit Keeper, or we used to have access to Kit Keeper. Kit Keeper was, if you are new and you're not real familiar with how we used to do it before December the 31st, we had a platform called Kit Keeper where you could go in and you could browse kits, kit titles, you could see what was new, and you could look at a calendar and see when it was available and then schedule it yourself. Unfortunately, Kit Keeper went out of business at the end of December. And they were a very, very affordable option for us. We think maybe they were too affordable, and that's part of what happened with their business. But at the same time, we are currently looking for a replacement to Kit Keeper. But in the meantime, we are still taking reservations for kits. Anything that was previously scheduled is still going to go out because we got a download of all of the titles and the schedules from Kit Keeper prior to their demise. So I have an Excel spreadsheet with all of that, and I enter those into 2 different spreadsheets. One's a master list, one is for Alexis to know what she needs to pull. And so you can go in and still look for kits to schedule, and you can schedule them with certain parameters, and I'll talk about those here in a little bit. But you see on that kit page under reserving a kit, I am updating this information as I know new information. So a new update is supposed to go out on this website today. And you see there a list of links to PDFs. These were all downloaded from Kit Keeper except for the large print. Were all downloaded from Kit Keeper prior to December the 31st. So they are up to date as of December the 31st. The large print kit is one that we have maintained whenever we added large print kits to the collection and whenever we weeded them. We went in periodically to make that list. The problem with creating PDFs and keeping a list of those is that we do weed and add kits frequently, and a lot of times, you know, they were outdated by the time we got them up, or they were about to be outdated by the time we got them up on the website. So it's just something that we're only doing for large print kits so that people who have vision issues, we have them kind of in large print, in large type. And people who have vision issues or who, you know, had computer, maybe weren't as savvy at using the computer and, you know, had visual issues and want a paper copy of the large print kits, we did do the PDF, and we still maintain a PDF of the large print kits. Regular print and youth do not go out as frequently. That's another issue. Large print is by far the kits that are requested the most. So we will continue that, you know, even after we have a replacement for Kit Keeper, we will continue to maintain a large print PDF list. But right now we do have PDFs of all of our regular print and the various age groups for our youth kits. And you can find that on that kits page. Okay. And this next slide is just an example of that large print book discussion kits list. New titles are still highlighted in yellow, and we used to have the titles hyperlinked so that you could actually go to the record in Kit Keeper where you could schedule it. However, since Kit Keeper is no longer available, I just took all those links out. So it's just strictly a title list now. I will add links back in when we have a replacement. Now, as for our programming kits, that's also, there's a link on the menu there to the side in the left-hand of the screen. And there's also a link there where it says programming kits that you can click on to get to a page that shows you all of the different programming kits that we have in the different categories. So there's STEAM kits. First, I would like to point out there at the top, we do have a flyer for your library that you can pass out to schools or to you know, groups in your community that may want to check out youth kits. And that's just kind of the marketing flyer that we created that's available on that page. Also, we do have, like I said, the STEAM kits, the thematic kits, and the interactive mystery kits. And all you have to do is click on the category link. And then that's going to open up a list of titles. And if you click on the title, it's going to take you to a page that shows you everything that's in that kit, pictures, as well as resource files for programming ideas. An inventory list of everything that's on the kit is there. So it's really, everything is there available for you to see what that kit is, what it has with it, and decide if you want to, you know, schedule it or not, reserve it. Now, another way to search for kits in our catalog is to go to the catalog page. So that catalog page, I have the URL down there at the bottom in red. It's worldcat.org/discovery. And then just click on advanced search. And you're going to put in quotes, for example, if you want a large print book discussion kit, you would do large print book discussion kit in quotes and the title. Or if it's regular, then you would do regular print book discussion kit or youth book discussion kit and so on. Okay, a little bit about our catalog. Catalog is really not the best way to find kits, honestly. But I mean, if you know a particular title that you're looking for and you just real quick want to see if we have that title and not have to browse through a list of different titles, you can do this. But other than that, the catalog doesn't really, it doesn't allow you to reserve kits. It doesn't allow you to see if it's scheduled in real time. All it will tell you is if that kit is currently checked in at the library, that even if it is checked in at the library, it may be scheduled to go out the next day. So it really doesn't give you much information as far as whether that kit is available to reserve. Also, I would encourage you to, when looking in our catalog, we have everything under the sun in our catalog. We have our book kits, we have our books and our audiobooks, we have articles from our research databases, and then because it's hooked up to WorldCat Discovery, and it's OCLC is, of course, a consortium of libraries worldwide, you can find items from libraries all over the world. So it's important, first of all, if you're looking in our catalog, and our results do float to the top, but make sure you look to see the format, that it is indeed a kit, and I've got that highlighted there in red. And then down below that, and I think you'll see it here, maybe on the next page, maybe not, but it should say held by Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives, or the author should be, if it's a kit, Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives. But we do have a lot of records in our catalog that are from other libraries, and I've had people request things before, and I've had to say, we don't actually own that. It is showing up in our catalog, but it's actually not our item. Okay. Another thing that you'll see in our catalog record, you'll get a summary. So if you want to know what that title is about, you can read a little summary of it, and you'll get a physical description, and that will tell you how many books are in it, whether there's an audio book or not, and then they all should have a discussion guide. If they don't, if you get one and for whatever reason the discussion guide just didn't check out, or maybe it's still with the last library that had it, you can contact us and we can just send you a PDF of that very easily. So not an issue. And Cathy, is this in real time as far as how many books? Okay,
that is the best place to look for how many items are actually in the kit.
How many items are actually in the kit? Yeah, because some of them are actually maybe have been weeded, or they've been damaged, or they're in processing repair or something of that nature. So you'll be able to see how many copies are available for that kit. Mm-hmm. And I've got over there at the left-hand side, or right-hand side, I should say, access options. Completely ignore access options when looking in our catalog, because that's really for state employees, for them to request items to be sent to their office from our collection, from our general collection, or whatever they're looking for. Audiobooks, large print books, they can check out anything in our collection as well. That's really not designed for public libraries.
Yeah. I will say that whenever we do get our new kit reservation system, there may be a link over there that will link to the reservation system in the record. That is about the only thing that you'll be able to use in the access options box. It'll say something like access online or something, right? But that'll be sometime in the future. Yeah.
So just remember, it doesn't give you information on whether the kit is available, unfortunately, and it does not give you information, like you can't reserve it through the catalog. Okay, moving on. So when we add new kits to the collection, I usually announce these on all the listservs. I'm on the Director's Listserv, the Bookmobile and Outreach listserv, Youth and Children's Services listserv, and CAPS, which is adult programming. I send it out on all of the listservs. I also keep a distribution list of book club coordinators that I'm familiar with, that I know have requested kits for their library. Of course, there's always staff. It's hard to keep those up because there's staff turnover and things of that nature. But I try to keep a current one. Whenever I see a name, I try to add it. Things of that nature. So, okay. And you can sign up for listservs again under library support. You just go to library staff development. And then you will see a card for listserv mailing lists. And if you click on that, that's going to take you to a place where you can see what the discussion list is about, and it will give you directions on how to subscribe to it. So for the Bookmobile Outreach Program staff, Nicole Wolf is or actually she's Gieske now, that's old, that needs to be updated. Nicole Gieske, who's our branch manager for library development, is in charge of that one, I believe. Amy Olson is our Kentucky Youth and Children's consultant, and she's in charge of that listserv. Adult program staff is Hillary. So, and I don't know who does the director's listserv, but
That's
KPLA.
yeah, they maintain that. So
They maintain their own. Okay, KPLA maintains that one. Okay. So, scheduling kits. Now that Kit Keeper is gone, the only way to schedule kits now is just to email me. So that is unfortunately the only way to do it. You can't request them through, and I've had some people request them through interlibrary loan on the WMS module. Please don't do that, because we do interlibrary loan for just books and audiobooks and things of that nature. So just email me. And currently, we did have, so that we're not doing double reservations, because like I said, I have an Excel spreadsheet and we've got a whole list of thousands and thousands of kit schedules that go out through into mid-2020. Well, I don't know if they were actually allowing. I think it went up to maybe January of 2026 was the latest they allowed you to get in there. So we have a lot of reservations already going out. The cutoff date had been 2/28. I'm going to open up the next 2 months. So if you have, and we're going to do it 2 months at a time until we have a replacement for Kit Keeper. We have one identified, and we are in the process. Of course, this is state government, and we are a state agency. So we have certain procedures and things that we have to do, and certain protocols that have to be followed. But we have identified a vendor, and we are working with them to get them made a state vendor so that we can actually subscribe to their service. I think it's really nice. I mean, Cathy and I have both done a kind of a free trial, and it's actually a lot more, there are a lot more options in it, and it's got a lot more flexibility than Kit Keeper did. It also allows you to do keyword searching and to look up things by titles and stuff like that, instead of having to browse through a list of things like you did with Kit Keeper. So it's got a lot of advantages actually, and we hope that it's going to be. And they seem to be a solid company. I don't think they'll go out of business anytime soon, hopefully. So of course, with computer companies, you never know, software companies. But it looks like a really, really good alternative, and we're really excited about it. But again, we have no timeline because it's fiscal,
state procurement.
Yeah, it's state procurement. It's kind of out of our hands at this point. So we are just waiting on them to get the go-ahead and get everything set up. As soon as that is implemented, as soon as we're able to implement it, then we'll be doing a new training, and we'll roll that out kind of the way that we rolled out Kit Keeper. But in the meantime, for those of you who still have kits that you want to schedule, we are scheduling for March and for April. And if you need something for early May, like if it is something that would, we tell you to give that 2-week cushion for delivery, because there's been some courier issues as well. But definitely give yourself at least 2 courier days to receive the kit. Then as far as scheduling, you can send me requests for March and for April and for early May, basically. A lot of people like to go ahead and do their schedules a year in advance, and I completely understand that, because your patrons are wanting to know what they're going to be reading and stuff. And we're planners, librarians are, and we like to have things planned, but we unfortunately are just not, with everything else that we do. We're just not able to get back into doing that for the entire year. So I can schedule your kits for the next 2 months, and we're going to keep rolling out 2 months. So if we still don't have anything in place by the end of April, we'll do the next 2 months. We'll open those up, and so on, until we've got it set up, and then hopefully you'll love it and it'll make your life much easier. But in the meantime, we're kind of playing a waiting game. So. Right. Next slide. The courier. Well, as I said, please allow at least 2 courier days or 2 weeks. We do have, I believe there's a new courier, and so there have been some mistakes made, things going out to the wrong place or being dropped off at the wrong place. So I think Stat Courier is working with that individual right now. But those things happen, unfortunately. Just let me know or let KYBL know. KYBL actually runs the courier. They have the contract, so it's Kentucky Virtual Library that runs the courier. And they do keep the same, because they are, working for a state agency. They keep the same schedule that we do. So if we're off on holidays, they don't run on weekends. They have basically the same schedule that we do. And if the office buildings are closed for weather, which the governor sometimes does, things will not go out on that day either. If you have library closures, I know KYVL likes for you to send those in to them if it's not on a holiday when the courier might normally be running. We're not able to help with any password issues or route changes or anything of that nature. If you have problems with one of the drivers, all of that information needs to go to Kentucky Virtual Library because they have a contract with Stat Courier, and Stat has certain things that they're supposed to, live up to in that contract. So all of that, the information really needs to go to Nan Harness or Alona Burdette at KYVL. And KYVL's website has all this information on it. So if you go to kyvl.org, you can find all that on the courier page. Also, and oh, there's the URL. Yes, I have the URL there. Okay, next slide. Of course, we can't guarantee any title is going to be available for the dates that you requested, but I'm happy to check. Just best thing to do is send me a list, get a list of potential titles, and I'll go through them and look for them. When you're submitting titles, make sure you keep that cushion, that 2-week cushion, so that the day that you give me, in Kit Keeper, the day that you reserved it was the day that it was going to ship, not the day that you could expect it at your library. So that gets confusing sometimes, I know, but just keep in mind, if you want it at your library, you have to keep in mind a couple things. The day that the courier runs at your library, and most libraries have just one courier day, and then go back 2 weeks from the courier day is what I would recommend. If you need longer than the standard 9-week checkout for book kits, let me know that in advance. Sometimes we are able to allow for that. I know some people, if they take things to nursing homes and stuff, they might need a longer checkout period. So we are able to do that if there's not another hold on that kit after your schedule. Also, I will send you a confirmation email with shipping and due dates. I'm emailing those out as I schedule kits, so you should receive a confirmation email. If you haven't gotten one from me, be sure to check back with me. Now for when things go wrong. And I think we've talked a little bit about that already. Before I go on, does anybody have any questions about scheduling? Okay. All right, where's my kit? So if you requested a kit, sometimes they don't get scheduled. Again, you will receive a confirmation email if it's been scheduled. So if you don't get a confirmation email from me, I can't guarantee that it's been scheduled. You'll have to just get back with me. I try to get kit requests within 2 days of you making it. Sometimes I get behind on going through my emails. But I will always, try to get with you about that. If you don't hear from me, feel free to email me and say, hey, I'm just, giving you a little friendly reminder, have you scheduled this? And I'm happy to answer. Okay. So this is just an example of an email that I will send out, and I'll have the title and the shipping and the due dates on it. And that's what it would look like. Okay. So the next problem, where's my kit? So again, it may have been scheduled, but it may not have been checked out and shipped as it was supposed to be. And that happens sometimes. Alexis deals with a huge number of incoming and outgoing materials. So sometimes it was scheduled, but it didn't get checked out, and it didn't get shipped. And sometimes this happens, especially when something comes back late from another library. And it can get overlooked sometimes. So if you haven't received a kit, especially if 2 courier days have gone by and you haven't received it, or even if 1 courier day has gone by and you haven't received it and you thought it should be able to get there within 1 week, then contact me and I will find out what has happened to it. The good thing about Stack Courier is that they do have a tracking website, and we have a 6-digit barcode on everything that we send out and we put into a courier form. So I will just look for the barcode, put that in the tracking website, and I should be able to track it. Usually I can see where it has been scanned, or if it hasn't been scanned here, then I know that it didn't go out as it was supposed to. Okay. Also, if it was checked out, if I get into the profile and I see it was checked out, 1 of 2 things has happened. There is a chance that the shipping tag was accidentally went on the wrong kit, and that happens sometimes too. You know, Alexis is really magnificent about that. She does a fantastic job of making sure, you know, she's always double checking her work and making sure that this is supposed to go to Magoffin County. This is supposed to go to Boyd County, whatever. So she's always good about checking the shipping tags, but it's easy with all the large volume of things that she sends out for that shipping tag to be switched for the kit that was supposed to go to Boyd County to get the Magoffin shipping tag. So happens from time to time. It's real easy. What I will do is once I see where it has gone, or if you contact me and say, I got a kit here that I'm not expecting, then I will track it down, and then I will see if possibly I will ask you if you can just send it on to the next library that was supposed to receive it, to the library that was supposed to receive it. Or I will, you know, ask you to send it back to us, and then we'll send it back out to the appropriate person. And, you know, we always make sure it's checked out again to the appropriate person. Another thing that happens, and is far more likely, is that it's sitting in the warehouse. So it has been overlooked in the warehouse, and the driver has simply not picked it up to take it out to your library, and that does happen. So if you have a kit that you're not expecting, or if you have a kit that you were expecting and you didn't get it, again, contact me. And just to kind of show you our paperwork, this is what the KYV courier form looks like. And you can see the 6-digit, and in some cases they're 5 digits, and I don't, those are older tags, I guess. But you can see the barcodes that we have for them. And then if I take that barcode and I put it in stats tracking site, then you can see that down there at the bottom, it was scanned at KDLA on 129. It arrived in Davis County on 131. So that's kind of what we look at. And occasionally, very rarely, but occasionally somebody will ask me and I'll say, I can see it was scanned in your library on this date. Could you check with other staff members? Is it possible somebody else received it, or it's been sitting to the side or something? And sometimes that's the case. Sometimes that has happened too. Okay, the next thing, why am I getting this overdue notice? Sometimes 1 or more items in the kit has not been checked in. It's easy, again, when you're dealing with the volume of materials, to misscan an item and you think that it's been checked in, but it hasn't. So sometimes that happens, and if you let me know, we'll go and we'll look at the kit and we'll see if it's actually there, and then we'll just scan it in. No problem. Okay, so like on this one, you can see on the library's account for the end of your life book club, on those due dates over there to the very far right hand side, everything is 11/17 except for the one I have circled, which says 9/16. And oh, this is just an instance of where, and I think it's the next thing I was going to talk about actually, where sometimes the item due date is just a glitch. And that happens to us a lot too, because OCLC WMS can be a glitchy system. So Okay, let's go to the next. Why am I getting this overdue notice slide? Wrong due date. And that's what I was talking about in that last. Yeah. Sometimes we get the wrong due date and we have to go in and manually fix the due dates. So, and these are all these, one other thing to say about the notifications, OCLC WMS only allows us to have one email per account. So there's only one email for each library. We try to make that the person who does interlibrary loan in your library, but it may not be. Other people may be getting overdue notices that should, really, you would be the person who would know what happened to that kit item. So again, that's just a situation where you would want to contact me. Anytime you get a notice that you're not sure about, just contact me, because it's possible that there was a glitch in the system and it put in the wrong due date, and we should go in and manually change it. Okay. And if you know you sent your kit back and you're still getting notices that it's overdue, let me know that. Again, it's probably in the warehouse. Another thing that comes up sometimes is that unfortunately, our kit receipts do not have the copy number for the, we have unique barcodes on each item in our kits so that we can charge for, anything that's lost or damaged. So sometimes we have those that, and I'm getting off track. I'm not sure where I was going with that. Sorry about that. If it's actually late, go ahead and return it ASAP. Another thing that you want to do is if you have maybe 1 or 2 copies that are still out with your patrons, but you have most of the kit back, please send it back, because in that instance, we need to get that out probably to another library. So that really helps us out. You can send the straggler copies back to us in the green courier bags. So they can always be sent back later. Okay. When you think that there are more checkout items listed on the checkout receipt than were received in the kit, we also barcode the kit container. So this happens a lot. People think that they have gotten, that there's something missing from the kit. It's actually the barcode that's on the tag that's on the kit container. We barcode everything, including our kit container. So that may be why you have an extra barcode that you're not expecting, or that you don't find an item to. Is if you look on the tag, you'll probably find that barcode. Okay. And if the due date is approaching and not all your patrons have returned the books, again, please go ahead and return the kit. It's probably scheduled to another library, unless it's a youth kit, and those don't schedule as frequently. But it's probably scheduled to another library, and we need to get it sent out on time to that library. If you've lost something, if a book has been lost, I can extend the due date to give the patron more time to look for it. If they absolutely can't find it or it's been damaged, then let me know. I'm pretty flexible about assessment fees. If it's an older item and we still have plenty of items to circulate in that kit, I may not charge for it. If it's something that, might have been weeded anyhow, I may not charge for it. So just contact me and I will let you know whether we'll be charging for it or not. If that happens, if you do have a lost or damaged item and we charge you for it, what we do is we send you an invoice through the snail mail. And then you, in turn, once you get the invoice, can charge your patron and then send the check. Well, what you'll do is you'll pay us, your library will pay us. And then you, in turn, can charge your patron if you decide to do that. We're not really, ideally, we don't replace, we will sometimes take replacement copies if it's an exact copy of that item, but we prefer really to just purchase it and see if we can purchase it on our own. So don't worry about sending replacement copies if something is lost and damaged. because we'll be able to replace it. Maybe if it's yeah, especially large print is a little harder to replace because it goes out of print pretty quickly. But you don't need to try and necessarily find a replacement copy for us. We want the cold hard cash. Okay. And this is just a slide showing you, this is a long overdue item and it costs $15. And the next slide is just an example of the receipt that you would receive. I'm not going to, I wouldn't email you that receipt that we have, again, state agency, we have to go through a process. So I have to send it to our person who does an invoice, sends it over to fiscal, and then they mail it out. I mean, it's just, we have to go through a process. So I can't just email you like an invoice or something like that. Okay, I'm going to hand it back over to Cathy.
All right, we're going to go through this pretty quick because we are pretty much at our time, but we've got a few more things to cover. So we're going to answer some questions or suggestions that we've received either through our kit evaluations or from the most recent public library survey that we did. And then if you want to hang on, you can ask us any question that you would like. And we'll start with include an audiobook for each kit. So we do actually purchase CD audiobooks if it's available, but I will say that with a lot of the new titles, they're not making physical CD audiobooks, especially for the youth ones. And unfortunately, for some of the older titles, if it's damaged or we lose a disc, we're not always able to replace that. So that's why a lot of the kits don't have an audiobook. Make sure an audio ebook or a digital audiobook is available in Kentucky Libraries Unbound. Well, we do purchase ebooks and digital audiobooks when possible, but we are restricted by the type of lending model that we can purchase. The items that are metered access, which is usually a lot of the popular ebooks, we can't always purchase those. So, but we do try, and sometimes I will buy another copy if it's a very popular title and there's a long wait list. I'll try and buy another copy. Include a DVD of the movie in the kit. We are unable to do this due to issues with public performance rights. So, all right, purchase more copies of popular kits, okay? Well, we do this on a case-by-case basis, but we have a limited budget for kits, and the large print kits can be very expensive. And if we were to purchase multiple copies for several kits, it limits the number of new kit titles that we can purchase per year. Now, sometimes we will purchase the kit in another format. So like if the large print is booked out for like a year or two, we'll try and purchase maybe in regular print. Sometimes it's actually easier for us to get that in another format. So, all right. Please include discussion questions that go with the book. Some have generic questions. Yes, we know that there are some generic questions out there. So our newest kits all have unique discussion questions that pertain to the book. And we are addressing guides with generic questions as time permits. Unfortunately, we have one person per format who's creating those. So Hillary is writing all the discussion questions for the regular and large print, and Amy's doing the youth ones. And from time to time, we try to check to see if somebody else has made some, but we are addressing it as we possibly can. And then someone has asked us to please do a periodic review of discussion guides and questions. We would love to do that, but staffing coupled with just the sheer number of kits that we have makes this very difficult. I mean, we have a total of over 1,200 kits. So that makes it very difficult with the small number of staff that we have to review all of the questions all the time. So, but if you know some issues on the kit you have with your discussion group, put it on the evaluation and we'll try to address it at that point. Okay. So please include copy numbers on the slips. So our system actually won't let us put the copy numbers on the due date slips that you receive. But if you have copy numbers on your checkout slips, they have been added manually by Alexis. So you really need to thank Alexis. She took it upon herself to add those. So just think about when we talked about how many kit parts we checked out in 2024, the 32,000. Alexis put all the copy numbers on those things. So just think Alexis. One thing we also see a lot is we didn't receive all of the books. We didn't receive our 15 copies or the 20 copies of the kit. Unfortunately, not all of the kits have 15 or 20 copies in the case of the youth kits. We're not always able to replace the damaged kit copies. We try, but sometimes it's just not possible. And then some of the copies might actually still be checked out to the previous library, as Debbie has talked about. If you want to see the most accurate number of books that should be in a kit, you're going to want to check out our catalog for that. And then we are out, but please feel free to type in any questions. We'll hang on here for another few minutes and answer any questions that you have about kits.
Thank you, Cathy and Debbie. And please, as Cathy said, please do feel free to use the chat, and we'll stick around if they have questions that they can answer for you. And in the meantime, I just wanted to go ahead and share a couple things with everyone for the closing. Today's webinar has been recorded and will be available as an archived webinar next week. There is a brief survey to complete from watching the video or watching the webinar today. So please feel free to do that in the Blackboard shell when you exit the
Thank you guys
video.
for attending. Again, this webinar is being recorded and it's going to be available hopefully within a week. There's going to be a link to a short survey. I think we're not doing that anymore, actually. This may be an older slide. What you will get is an email that will have a link to the recording, and there will be a link to a short survey that you can fill out. And please, please, please fill it out, because this impacts our access to continued federal funding. So it helps to know that these are helpful for you, and if they're not, how we can improve. The presentation slides and a certificate of attendance will also be emailed to all attendees. And if you have any questions about continuing education credits or anything of that nature, contact Tricia McCallum or Alicia McGrath in continuing education. And hope you guys have a great rest of the afternoon and a good Valentine's Day.